If you told the average person that you had $3 million saved for retirement, most would say, you're all set, and understandably so. That's far more than most people retire with. But here's what I've seen in real life. Even with that level of savings, people still worry. They wonder, how long will it last? What happens if markets drop early in retirement? Am I drawing from the right accounts? What if healthcare expenses escalate? Will taxes eat away more than I expected? Retiring with $3 million still feels risky for some people, not because they don't have enough, but because they don't have the strategy, clarity, or flexibility that true retirement confidence requires. And in this video, I'll show you why that's the case and how to fix it. Hi, I'm Scott Beasley, Certified Financial Planner at Gateway Financial Partners. I help individuals and couples nearing retirement develop tax-efficient income plans, align their money with what matters most, and navigate the complex financial decisions that come with this stage of life. If you're in your 50s or 60s and looking for clarity around your retirement strategy, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Today, I want to walk through 6 reasons why $3 million, while substantial, can still leave people feeling uncertain as they approach retirement. More importantly, I'll explain how the right plan can help you turn that number into real peace of mind. 1. Inflation quietly shrinks your buying power. $3 million today doesn't go as far as $3 million did 10 or 20 years ago, and it won't go as far 10 or 20 years from now either. This is the reality of inflation. Let's say your lifestyle costs about $120,000 per year today. Even with a modest 3% inflation rate, that same lifestyle will cost over $160,000 in 10 years and over $230,000 in 25 years. So if you're planning for a 25 to 30 year retirement, inflation is essentially a slow erosion of your purchasing power. A $3 million portfolio must do 3 things: provide income, protect against volatility, and outpace inflation. That's a delicate balance to strike, and why a well-structured plan matters more than the headline number in your account. 2. Sequence of returns risk. Let's say 2 people retire with identical $3 million portfolios. They both withdraw the same amount each year and earn the same average return over 25 years. But one retires into a bull market and the other retires just before a major downturn. The one who faced early losses may run out of money years earlier. That's called sequence of returns risk, or simply sequence risk. And it's one of the most overlooked threats to a sustainable retirement. Here's why it matters. If the market drops early in retirement and you're withdrawing income, you're selling investments at a loss. Those losses compound over time, especially if you don't have enough time to recover. That's why we often build a 3-bucket system: short-term cash or bonds to cover 1 to 3 years of income, mid-term investments for the next 4 to 10 years, and long-term growth investments to fuel the later decades of retirement. This approach helps ensure you're not forced to sell during a downturn, giving your portfolio the stability and runway it needs to recover. 3. Taxes on tax-deferred accounts. Let's look at the composition of your $3 million. If most of that is in 401ks or traditional IRAs, it hasn't been taxed yet. Every dollar withdrawn will be treated as ordinary income, not capital gains. That means you could enter a higher tax bracket, you might face Medicare surcharges, or your Social Security could be up to 85% taxable. And when you turn 73, you'll have to start taking required minimum distributions, RMDs, even if you don't need the money. Let's say you're 73 and have $2 million in IRAs. The IRS will require you withdraw roughly $75,000 to $80,000 that year. Add to that Social Security and other income, and suddenly you're paying more in taxes than you expected. That's why we often recommend strategies like partial Roth conversions before RMD age, withdrawing pre-tax accounts in low income years, or using taxable accounts for flexibility. The goal is to reduce your lifetime tax burden, not just your taxes in one specific year. 4. Lifestyle expectations that outpace the plan. Many people with $3 million saved feel they've earned the right to enjoy retirement, and they have. But that often comes with a long list of goals, like traveling more frequently, helping adult children, purchasing a second property, funding grandkids' education, charitable giving, covering healthcare costs, and still leaving behind a legacy. Individually, each of those may be manageable, but collectively, they can compete for the same dollars, especially if you're drawing down that $3 million over a 30-year retirement. That's why one of the most important parts of the planning process is prioritizing your goals. Which goals are essential, which are flexible, which can be funded later or differently. A sound plan gives every dollar a purpose, so you're not left wondering whether you can afford to say yes to the things that matter most. 5. Healthcare and long-term care remain the wild cards. According to Fidelity's 2025 data, the average 65-year-old couple will need about $350,000 in healthcare costs over retirement. That includes premiums, deductibles, copays, and prescription drugs, but not including long-term care. And long-term care is where the real unpredictability lies. Whether it's assisted living, in-home care, memory care, or skilled nursing facility, the cost can add up quickly. Some facilities charge $100,000 or more per year, and many people need care for 2 to 4 years, sometimes longer. This presents a major threat to the portfolio, not just for the person needing care, but for the surviving spouse who still needs that portfolio to last another 10 to 15 years. This is why we often integrate dedicated healthcare reserves, hybrid long-term care policies, or asset-based insurance strategies that protect your plan without overcommitting cash flow. Planning for the worst-case scenario gives you freedom to enjoy life now because you've already addressed the unknowns. 6. No clear income strategy. This is where it all comes together. Even with $3 million saved, many retirees still feel uneasy because they don't know how to turn that number into dependable income streams. They ask, which account should I draw from first? Should I delay Social Security or take it at 62 or 67? How do I minimize taxes across my income sources? And how do I make sure my spouse is protected if something happens to me? The answers aren't simple. They depend on how your assets are structured, your spending needs, your tax picture, and your broader goals. That's why a comprehensive income strategy is the key to retirement confidence. It coordinates investment withdrawals, Social Security timing, tax bracket management, and ongoing adjustments over time. Without it, people tend to either underspend out of fear or overspend and risk running short later. The goal isn't just to have money, it's to have a plan for how that money supports the life you actually want to live. Let's recap the 6 reasons why retiring with $3 million can still feel risky. Inflation silently reduces what your dollars can buy over time. Sequence risk makes early market downturns especially dangerous. Tax-deferred accounts come with hidden future tax bills. Lifestyle expectations can outpace what's realistic without prioritization. Healthcare and long-term care are unpredictable and potentially devastating. And without a clear income strategy, even high net worth retirees feel uncertain. If you've worked hard, saved diligently, and built up $3 million or more for retirement, the last thing you want is to be paralyzed by doubt. You deserve clarity. You deserve a strategy tailored to your life, not just a rule of thumb. If you'd like help building a retirement plan that gives you confidence, not just on paper, but in your day-to-day decisions, click on the link in the description below to schedule a conversation. We'll walk through your current situation, your goals, and what a strategy could look like for you. And if you found this video helpful, feel free to like and subscribe for more clear retirement guidance, and share it with someone you know who might be approaching retirement.